Hello everyone, it's Mike Levin, July 25th. I guess it's Tuesday morning, 2017, and coming up on 8 a.m. and I gotta head out pretty soon, but I am showing my apartment, B64, here in New York City, Park Terrace Gardens, where I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom in Manhattan, which I am selling. And these are my cats. This is Billy, and there's Sammy, and somewhere around there is Charlie. And I'm taking a few minutes to get the place in order to be ready for a showing. Not an open house. I have been sort of running myself ragged on these open houses, but that's fine. You know, I've only had it on the market since April, end of April, May, June, July. We're hardly out of July. And I have made the determination to leave the cats here when I do an open house. So, open houses forever, no problem. I take the load off myself as I hone my skills on the professional side, because as much as people like to say the industry of SEO, search engine optimization, still has the PageRank algorithm underneath it and still is greatly unchanged from prior years, and no matter how much I actually agree with that concept, the world is undeniably changing. And as it undeniably changes as a result of various machine logic trying to build up towards artificial intelligence projects, and the battle of the smart homes ensues between Amazon and Google and Apple, right? So there are three real players in the race. As much as people love to throw IBM into discussions like this, maybe Samsung even to a more valid degree, the battle for dominance will reside in the size and versatility of the network. And it's the smart home initiatives that are building the worldwide network of processing nodes that could be very, very determining in the world's future, because anything cool that arrives is going to be a synthesis of our own human, behaviors. We do have a lot going for us as the product of millions of years of evolution that let us do all these things that we're going to try and get machines to do. And there's this attitude that there's this crossover point where they start doing everything that we can do better than us, and humans become some sort of obsolete. And I encounter that opinion from time to time, including, stop automation, right? Because what is the real evil in this picture? It's not, necessarily just machines achieving some degree of reasoning ability, which will give them enough brains for simple jobs that robots can do. So some sci-fi type people might, cast the concern in light of the robot revolution and Skynet and all that stuff. But I say, no, just standard socio-economic changes. New playing fields, as did the Industrial Revolution in its day. I mean, this is just the second wave of the Industrial Revolution, right? Automate machines to do your bidding, use methodologies like assembly line techniques to drive cost of production down, and use principles like, overall operational efficiencies and quality management, total quality management, to make sure that the product coming out the other end of the cycle is not crap. In fact, it's probably pretty good because it has been collectively designed and refined by the people who want that product, shall we say. And so everything we do and every tool we make is a result of the same evolutionary process as our our physical bodies, which, as some would argue, real evolution stops once the resources and compassion of the society are such that it keeps everyone alive and gives everyone a fair chance at life and happiness and reproduction, and sending the genes and ideas down the chain, along the chain. And this is where a lot of those discussions of what is it all, is there human free will and everything. And so these videos, this video series, is going to be me mostly avoiding editing, because editing is the enemy of keeping the ideas flowing. And some people who, I guess, do it as a living, who've cracked the code, working where they want, working when they want, and establishing a income revenue stream that is independent from the daily grind and the rat race. So, I mean, I know person after person who has more or less carved out that existence for themselves. And that is, I suppose, my dream. What I'm trying to do here is to, have a pretty good income by working anywhere, by providing some service that can be delivered anywhere in the world, where payment is, automatic and online, and I take advantage of all this automation stuff that is always discussed. And, as for those who know how to reach in there and connect the dots between components and add their own unique creativity and expression, the world is your oyster, The rewards are just there for the taking, and a diversity of rewards, not only monetary, because monetary is pretty much the last thing that is my motivation. I want to be there for all this. I want to see this happening. I want to watch reality play out around me, much as I like to read my sci-fi books. I'm on this sci-fi series that I realized suddenly is paralleling H.P. Lovecraft. It's like being a modern day H.P. Lovecraft. And wow, that's cool. The first book was 14, the second one was Fold. And I always forget the guy's name. I'll have to post it in the video notes. But there you have it. I'm doing these videos anywhere, anyhow, anytime. I want to get one out this morning, but I also have to work hard, because things are split down this middle where I am making the most of and the best of the little, fragments of spare free time that I have. So with my commute, I tell you, that's a big chunk of what would otherwise be my discretionary time. So I eat and I get on the phone with Addie, and then I fall asleep. If I'm lucky, I do all the other things that must come in there in order to be a healthy, functioning human being. But here I am, probably 8:06 is the time. And so, it's about an hour commute, so I really got to hustle to get there by 9. But the flexibility and willingness of an employer in media in New York City to let a little bit of leeway based on, the nature of the employee and the work the employee you have and the work they're doing. So my thing is, for my employer, exactly the thing I want to do in my next stage of my professional career. Old school search engine optimization, while still being run by, say, 75% page rank as far as the ordering of the search results. All the rest of those systems that are being layered in are coming from other processes and other systems that are more machine learning driven. And there's a mandate at Google to do all that machine learning stuff. So change is coming, fellow SEOs. And for other people tuning in, And that change that is coming is so tied to the robot evolution. I won't say revolution. It's just the next stage of the industrial revolution. People thought the stage after that was the information age. So part of my message is that information is not active. Information just sits there doing no good for no one unless a data master? I don't know. In ye old web, we were called webmasters. We could put together a LAMP or Microsoft web publishing system, put together the HTML files, sometimes do really clever tricks like spin out lots of individual HTML pages, each one targeting its own special, unique, and non-overlapping target keyword, and perhaps even spit out such pages by the thousands. Hey, it's automated and simple, so why not the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions? Google throws up their hands and says, stop. They say, Vince, brands have a little bit of safe haven. Then they said, pandas and penguin, your most common techniques to manipulate us fail. And then more recently, owl going, oh, that's got to be verified. And every last thing being layered in what we used to call universal search, search result pages that don't just show the SERP style top 10 that's sort of always lurking underneath of there as the product of the page running process. So we can't call it universal anymore because it's just so much. Well, so much universal, maybe it is the right term, but it's just the Google search result page. Customized based on your web history, customized based on your location, customized soon in the future based on your smart home How I Live profile, with all the companies like Amazon and Google and Apple all competing to have enough influx of raw data. Apple Watch, right? Let's see. Here's my daughter. Every time I look at my watch, I get a different picture of my daughter and I, and it uses live photo. So I actually did the weird move of switching live photo back on in Apple, because at first I hated it because I'm an Instagrammer and I'm cropping and all that gets lost anyway, so why bother? And then I started realizing how cool Apple live photo is in things like the Apple Watch, slideshow watch face. I'm not even sure the terminology. It's got new terminology in the watch, but there you go, wearables and the Amazon Alexa Echo Dot whatever naming disaster they chose, but naming disasters be damned. Amazon's making it work because they got that little hockey puck thing, and they got the more expensive ones for the hardcore smart homers, and they've got all kinds of Kindles, from the Paperwhite that really satisfies the hardcore reader who is not even sold on giving up old school books and old school reading, which is a valuable skill. It's one of those, make sure you can do it in case society needs to be reboot skills, which I believe in. So the daddy in me is going to make sure Addie knows such wonders as the fact that every antenna that lets you pick up radio signals is also a potential transmitter, and here's how you build one. That's not even digital electronics, that's just electronics and the weird side effects of reality. So that eventually does lead to digital electronics, which you can't get away from, us having discovered this simple thunking trick. You thunk down reality to this overly simplistic on-off state, and you add time and memory and processors, and you've got computers. So digital electronics and computers have gone hand in hand with the Industrial Revolution. It was the natural outgrowth of making machines do stuff like robots. But that is far from the end of the story, because neural networks, IBM Synapse chip, Google TensorFlow processors, TPUs, and every other brand of hardware from Facebook and, really inspired processor designers who jump onto the picture because, this is cool, money's to be made, futures to be built. Elon Musk with his Neuro company, and all kinds of other endeavors like that. Ray Kurzweil, one of the Google fellows and pioneers in optical character recognition, saying, it's all imageable and it's all uploadable, and everything in your head is a lot like software that can be recorded and reinstantiated in new substrates, which perfectly aligns with such sci-fi as I've been reading lately, such as the late Ian M. Banks's Culture series, Player of Games, Ascension. All these things highly recommended, because every concept you've had in sci-fi, every concept you've had about the future has been imagined in sci-fi at some point or another, and you can essentially get second opinions on your thoughts of what must, be just getting ready to come to be, now that we can manufacture nanotubes and graphene and all these other miracle materials that couple together, combine with what's happening with machine learning and automation. And suddenly you have some very, very interesting futures in the not so far off future, even if you can't upload recorded brain images the way Ray Kurzweil claims. Even if it's just, we can build what is effectively insects that pass the insect version of the Turing test. And I think we're pretty well there today. Roombas are like a commercial version of that. But of course they don't self-power and, coordinate with societies and do group efforts yet together at the consumer level. But you can bet that kind of stuff exists in every form, with drones and, whatever, space probes, at least in design and maybe in actuality somewhere in this world. And these things that are passing over from the realm of the impossible into the realm of the possible creates these, arms races, not arms races, but gold rushes, as we saw in the .com era, and now we're seeing in the machine learning era. No longer the age of information, but rather the age of automation, things that touch the real world, like cat hair. So this is almost 20 minutes in, and I really got to wrap things up and get out on the street and get to work, and I'll still be arriving by 9:30 a.m., which is in the realm of acceptable. I'd like to improve that a little bit as I get more on top of my situation and sell B64, but no rush. This is a pretty cool life I have carved out for myself, and it is suddenly getting much more relaxing and enjoyable every day from the decision to leave the cats here during open house. Woohoo! And even the ability to do videos like this during the time that I use to also clean up, and giving you a unique insight into my life, and then pulling off episodes like this, non-scripted and non-edited, just free-flowing and somehow managing to still work. I've tried this in podcast format as well, but I think it loses something. It loses context. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and a video is worth what, right? So a lot of the bad audio and background noise is forgivable because you can see what it is. And I play on that integrated life concept because, you know, there ain't enough time in life to pigeonhole and compartmentalize unless you are super, super, super dedicated to one of those compartmentalizations and obsess over it, often at the expense of all others, as do super scientists like Einstein and, you know, super athletes. And these things go in phases too in people's lives, so they don't have to be that all the time. And so, you know, generally, to ensure yourself success, the formula is quite easy. Excess capacity. Be able to do much more than you are being called upon on a daily basis to actually do. And the stuff that you are called upon to do, if you find it hard, opportunity to advance yourself, your mind, your career, your actual interest level. Third cat, that one's Charlie, the elusive. He's just a probability cloud. Anyway, here, watch, you'll see. See? So anyway, with that, I'll wrap up and get out on the road, do a last look around of acceptability. I'll give the kitty cats more light in this room as they hang out. These are, again, Billy the teddy cat and Sammy, he's king. This is Chairman Male, actually my ex's, and she will be getting him soon. I am turtle sitting while she, you know, should not have reptiles around. And, you know, all's pretty good. My relationship with Addie is awesome. It's warms on my heart every night when she says, you know, after I say love you, and she says, I love you, Dad, I love you. And I'm like, oh my God. So, you know, the little times you gotta rise up and overcome adversity are not only okay, but they're worth it. It's like the constant boo-boos one gets growing up, and they always heal, and you know the process of how they heal. You know, insert protein and energy and follow up with phases of sleep. Rinse and repeat, body heals. And so armed with all this knowledge that you're not actually getting beat up and worn down by life, but actually built up and made stronger, everything is okay and wonderful. And you don't have to sweat the small stuff. And so long as you take care of the big sweeping things that are objectively necessary for all of us in society, you know, having some way to either make an income or be supported, there are many valid options in life. And to pursue what you love or to pursue what you hate, which would you choose? Pursue what you love and try and make these two things the same. And if you find there isn't enough time for everything, make everything the same thing. Life, working, vacation, you know, family life, interests, passions, you know, everyone can, you know, make their decisions and go somewhere. And there are probably more possibilities of where you could go than there are positions on a go board. And so, you know, certain little symbols perfectly encapsulate these concepts. So I'm going to grasp onto those things. The room is set up well. This area, there's really nothing I'm going to try too hard to do because cats are cats. I will hide the scooper. No one needs to see that. Bathroom, master bedroom, fine. Living room, some Legos left out, no biggie. Oh, I put the cat's food away. I don't need to put the cat's food away. I'll just put their wet away. No one likes to see the remnants of wet cat food, but dry cat food, keep my kitties happy. Just filled and fresh in their bowl last night. No offending things left out. Cat food away. Paper towels away. Avocados left out because it's a superfood. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon, and don't forget to follow my series.